Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm Mickey Mouse here. We are back for the Maxi Toys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. So last time we actually did tackle through All-Star mode as Pichu, despite the fact that Pichu was actually one of my least favorite fighters in the entire game, but that's just a personal opinion of mine. And today for this episode, we're about to return back into the adventure mode yet again, but even then though, this time around though, we're gonna be using this very familiar fighter. Now you remember that in the last video that we briefly mentioned about saying that we're gonna be playing as the swordsman, because yes, we're about to be selecting this very familiar fighter known as Marth from the unknown Nintendo franchise, which is still going strong even to the future years in time, which is actually prediction is that Marth's first appearance was actually known as Fire Emblem. Now Fire Emblem was, as far as the first game in the series, only came out in Japan, which I'm not sure it might actually came out on the Famicom in Japan though anyway. I guess it's for what I'm concerned about that. So yeah, so let's get started for Marth. So basically, how he actually plays out is pretty much the swordsman player, as you guys should already know about this point. And even then though, that he has some core of a range of attacks that you can actually just perform with him. Like for instance, that if you actually just use the just the standalone B attack, that you can actually just charge up to actually use the one of his sword attacks. And then also that if you actually use this side special attack, you can actually perform himself a little bit of a timing requirement of your sword thrusting ability. And that way, if you're trying to do it rapidly tap the B button, at least to the side, then you should be able to clarify that you might actually just to get yourselves a bit of a good range when it comes to actually deal performance of the sword damage onto his other opponents. So yeah, it's pretty handy. And also that the up B attack is special attack is pretty standard stuff, just like how it does it for Link's special B attack, which you can just use that really handy for you if you actually don't want to fall down to the bottom of this pit or something. Or even you can actually use that until you actually offer yourself some very brief of the shortcut. So anywho though, so even then though, we'll take a break on fighting against with Luigi for the time being, because we haven't fight against with Mario and Peach for a long time since Ice Climber, so yeah, we figure why the heck not. And then the down special attack was actually probably one of my favorite attacks as far as Marth's character himself, is the fact that you know how the I'm assuming that if you're actually trying to fingerspell it, that the down special attack for Marth, even for Roy, which we'll get into that in the next video, is the fact that he can actually perform himself a counter attack, which if you time your attack well enough, if you're actually trying to let your opponent get closer to you, that way you should be able to perform yourselves a counter attacks. Even then though, this is an ability you should always recommend, especially if you're actually trying to do adventure mode or classic mode or even all-star mode as from harder computer difficulties. But even then though, that you should probably definitely go ahead and just try to use that ability no matter what. Even for if you're actually having a lot of trouble with tougher fights or even some tougher opponents you're gonna come across, then you should probably guarantee it by that. Especially when we actually get into the other clone character, which we'll actually get into that in a moment until the next video as we mentioned earlier. Even for the last and final clone character we're going to be selecting throughout that particular Let's Play run through, we'll get to that in a moment. So anywho, and as you expected though, as far as if he's actually running himself, this means he's actually quite the fastest player throughout. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just, no, we didn't meant to do the aerial dodge in mid-air. Oh, that was a little bit of a terrible move there. But anyway though, so as far as unlocking Marth is concerned, because he is essentially another unlockable character in this game, in order to actually unlock him, I'm presuming if I remember rightly, since we actually did this on our own time as well, that in order to actually unlock him, you must able to actually reach into the versus matches and pick one of the 14 regular characters if you actually play this game for the first time around. If you ever play Mario, Pikachu, Bowser, Peach, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Captain Falcon, Fox, and also Ness, Ice Climbers, I'm assuming Samus as well, and even Zelda, and finally Link. And if you manage to play all these 14 actual playable characters when you first time playing your game, then you should be able to actually have a fight against with Marth. And for some reason it takes place when you're actually trying to unlock him though, however, in the battle arena itself, it will immediately take place in the Fountain of Dreams, as far as the Kirby stage. So even though until when it gets to Brawl, and especially Super Smash Bros. 4 from Nintendo 3DS and for the Nintendo Wii U, and possibly Nintendo Switch as well, because thanks to the Fire Emblem Fates did recently came out on Nintendo 3DS last year, so if I was expecting that there's going to be a next Fire Emblem on its way, but then I don't know if that Nintendo 3DS's final year is going to be 2017, we're not exactly sure. But even then though, if I remember that Nintendo 3DS is going super strong, even then though that the 3DS was almost 6 years old, even for our YouTube channel as far as this is concerned too. Oh great, looks like Sheik is kicking my butt. But anyways, let's go ahead and just try to deal with her. Let's just see if we're not going to waste our time here. So anyway though, so yeah, so many things we can actually just to say about this here is the fact that although actually before we talk more into that actually, but even then though, we actually got about let's just say 3/4 days left until the actual Nintendo Switch presentation comes up for the Nintendo Direct scenario, which was usually speaking for well, usually 3 days left in North America, and I don't know in Japan, but Europe will actually get ourselves 4 days left until the actual Nintendo Switch presentation comes up. So, even then though, we're still looking forward until that comes up, so anywho. So yeah, that's how you're essentially going to unlock Marth in Super Smash Bros. Melee. So, but even then though, that Super Smash Bros. Melee doesn't actually contain Fire Emblem stages, because until when it gets to Brawl, and even Super Smash Bros. 4 from Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Wii U, or possibly Nintendo Switch, if there's any speculations of actually porting Super Smash Bros. 4 from Nintendo Switch coming up, even though they need to think about it first until before the presentation comes up. But even then though, that because of that though, they actually get themselves those stages from Fire Emblem. So yeah, like the Castle Sage from Brawl, and even the Colosseum from the Nintendo Wii U version of Smash 4. And I'm assuming the I don't know what's the stage for the Nintendo 3DS's name, but even then though, we'll research on that as soon as we actually get into Roy though, however. So here we go with yet again the self-destruct sequences here, so let's go grab ourselves the trophy. I believe this little particular Guild trophy was actually first appearance is in Earthbound, which is, you know, only exclusive to North American title from the Super Nintendo cartridge. But it wasn't until when it gets to 2013 that, thanks to the Wii U owners, they've managed to got themselves the Virtual Console re-release version of Earthbound, which is quite lucky for Europe and even Japan owners. Well, expecting that in Japan's version of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, did have a little bit of a brief demo, and I think that's all there is to know. So, anywho. Now we move on to Green, so we probably should expect to see how this is going, so yeah. So yeah, I really like Marth actually. He's probably the coolest looking swordsman fighter in the entire Super Smash Bros. Series. You know, I believe that his first appearance was obviously the first Fire Emblem game from Nintendo Entertainment System, or at least the Famicom version, because again, the first Fire Emblem game only came out in Japan only. But until when it gets to the future installments, most likely Fire Emblem the Secret Stones for the Game Boy Advance, and even for the Path of Radiance, and even Radiant Dawn, and then especially Fire Emblem Awakening, and even Fire Emblem Fates for 3 of these versions, which I believe Conquest, and I believe was Reversal as well, even though I couldn't pronounce that name very well, and also the third DLC side story for Fire Emblem Fates, because Fire Emblem Fates do have 3 different versions. You know, back in Pokemon Mystery Dungeons for the Nintendo DS's, most likely the Blue Rescue Team, Explorers of Darkness, Explorers of Sky, Explorers of Time, and all that, they usually get us also 2 few alternate versions of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. But even then though, that even though there's Gates to Infinity released in 2013, but even then though, it wasn't until when it gets to 2016, which it did recently released Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. So, anywho. So now let's go ahead and beat the Lex out of Fox McCloud. So even then though, let's go ahead and just have a We're hoping we actually get a chance to actually just to deal with Falco in that particular match. But anyway though, so let's go ahead and... Oh, I don't think so, Mr. Fox McCloud. So, do we actually have a fight against with Falco yet? Let's just find out.
Falco, don't let them get you!
This has gotten interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Calm down. This is where the real battle begins.
And there we go, so that all actually worked out, because if you see that particular cutscene, like Falco's being replaced as Fox, as what it said on the text box, this means you do have the ability to fight against with Falco, so yeah. There's some pretty rare occasions where you're constantly gonna have to do that. But I'm assuming in order to actually activate it, you must able to actually beat Fox McCloud for at least under 15 seconds or less. Which, if you perform it quick enough, then you should be able to actually fight against with Falco for that time. But there we go. After a long amount of tries in order to actually have the ability to fight against with Falco to begin with, and there we go. We should be able to be conquered for that. So, anywho. So yeah, what was it we were gonna say? Yeah, until when it gets to the, you know the Fire Emblem games came around for the international release, most likely the English versions in the United States of America, and even Europe as a result, that, somehow that, remember back in, you know, and, I'm pretty sure that, even then though, some Fire Emblem games did came around on their Virtual Console re-releases from Nintendo Wii U, because thanks to the ability to download Virtual Console stuff from the Game Boy Advance. And then, I'm pretty sure DS as well, but even then though, we'll have to find out if we actually research and stuff. And then also that, you know, so, but I think every now and then, especially the physical releases of Fire Emblem, like for example, the Fire Emblem, the Path of Radiance and the Path of Radiant Dawn, that those particular two games for the Fire Emblem series, for the GameCube and even Nintendo Wii, these two games are by far the most expensive, even collectible item you can possibly obtain, because usually, speaking of such though, between Path of Radiance and even Radiant Dawn, that usually speaking of such though, it can like ramp up with the price tags, which I think that's probably noticeable. I think it's mostly due to the fact that how anyone else thinks that, I don't know, probably due to the fact that how they never heard of the Fire Emblem series before. Although the only time they recognize the Fire Emblem games, I'm presuming it's more likely for the Super Smash Bros. Melee, so... But at least Marth is the only one Fire Emblem character that anyone seems to recognize. So yeah, Marth will make a return in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, in this case, spoiler alert, he actually will, and even Super Smash Bros. 4 for Nintendo Wii U and 3DS. Now, unlike how it does in Brawl, even Super Smash Bros. Melee though, however, that the Marth from Super Smash Bros. 4, the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U is actually unlocked from the get-go. But anyway though, we'll explain more on that as soon as we actually get into those two titles. At least as far as that, Piglet and Sonic are about to be currently going to be, trying to deal performing Super Smash Bros. Brawl redo Let's Play, but that'll wait until next month, I'm assuming that's what this is going, so... At the moment right now, we're getting butt kicked by Captain Falcon anytime, but even then though, let's go ahead and just... not to be too hasty on this part, so even then though, we only got about 2 stocks remaining. We need to be very careful about this, because obviously... Now, we don't want to go fly off the stage. I don't think that was going to be happening. But anyway, so let's go ahead and... Ah, God. See, between, you remember that, the previous match, which was on the temple level, which we actually did face off against... Oh, no, don't let him get the maximum tomato. Or tomato, rather. There we go. So that way, that will actually restore our health for a brief moment. So let's go ahead and just strike on him. Boom, there we go. Oh, jeez. Between Zelda/Sheik and even Captain Falcon, that those two players I'm having most trouble with dodging those guys. Even for a normal difficulty like this, that I was mostly due to the fact that we're always trying to be busy, just trying to perform the counter-attack like plenty of times. But anywho though. However though, his strength wasn't exactly powerful to the ones of the equivalent player, even though no, we'll get to him until the next video, so... Well, speaking of such though, we, since right at the moment we only got one more character, we only have like one more character to showcase in All-Star mode, And then currently we're going to be doing the final 2 playable characters in adventure modes. In this case, we only got about, well, currently we're almost done with Marth's campaign in adventure mode. And after we're pretty much done with him, then we pretty much guarantee we're going to be doing the final 2 characters of the single player campaign, and then we can actually showcase off some extra stuff how this game offers. Like, you know, I believe we already mentioned this earlier, that we're going to be showcasing some of the extra stages that we haven't seen throughout this particular Let's Play. And also we're going to be briefly showcase some other modes you can actually see throughout this entire Let's Play, like the home run contest, and even especially the multi-man melee. And we're not going to show training mode, because training mode is usually back and forth, just like in the original game, and I believe it behaves exactly like how it does in the original game. So you just have to, like, train your character and just try and perform some better skills and what have you. So, yeah. So once again, we're going to be taking place in Icicle Mountain, and then we're hoping we're not going to get knocked out by a random enemy placement, unlike last time with Mewtwo, because again, Mewtwo's offense, in my opinion, is actually probably the weakest part for Mewtwo for me. But it wasn't until when we get into Brawl and what have you that well, usually speaking of such though, that's all I must confess. So anyways, now we can get the hold of the capsule in our hands, so let's go ahead and chuck into the ice climbers right here. So somehow we only got the just the regular music has been playing rather than the Balloon Fighter music, even though there's a bit more nostalgia feel to it with that Balloon Fight music. We even know that's probably how this goes. So anyways, we only got 2 stages left, so even though that we got Battlefield, which is self-explanatory, and Final Destination, and then hopefully we can actually have a chance to have the ability to fight against with Giga Bowser. This might be really tough with Marth, because usually speaking of Social, it's all randomized when it comes to that particular attack. But even then, we'll get to that as soon as we actually get to that. So, anywho, let's go ahead and take down these wired frame fighters. But even then, if you're constantly using your counter attack, even your blocking attacks like this, you should be able to actually let these guys fly off instantly. Yeah, which does seem to make more likely a premise. Alright, so once again, we got to usually fight against with this Metal Brothers. But even then, though, self-explanatory. This might actually be, until when it gets to Mr. Game & Watch, which is actually the final character we'll be showcased. It's a good thing that we're actually going to be doing the Mr. Game & Watch for the final character, because if you expected that for, expecting for the roost of the host, or the rooster of, or the roster of the unlocking playable characters departments when it comes to the categories and lists, that of all the unlockable characters though, if you actually try to come across, then Mr. Game & Watch will have to be by far the final unlockable character department. So, hey, at least as far as this is actually a good thing, we're going to be saving him for, again, until last. We'll explain more on that later, until we actually get to him. Alright then, Giant Dark Bowser, we meet again. So even then though, thanks to Marth's unique ability, which was a counter attack, but even then though, you're gonna have to be really precise on that particular attack, because if you do it way too early, if you actually let your opponents go way further away from you, you probably ended up won't give you a chance to actually knock them back. So let's go ahead and use our hammer right here. In this case, a trusty old hammer from Donkey Kong, from the arcade machines and all that. Ah, come on, he's not dead yet, come on. At least we're expecting if we actually get ourselves 2 stocks remaining, so even then though, let's go ahead and just try to finish him off. Ah, what the... Come on, let's see if we can finish him off. While we're actually just trying to throw the capsule to the side. And do we have an ability to fight against with Giga Bowser? Sure enough, we still do, because it says stage clear, so even then though, we don't run into the game killer clear sequence here. Yeah, every time when you're actually trying to play as Marth sometimes, that Marth, he's usually speaking in entirely Japanese. Unlike in Ike, where we're getting to that in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, they said it depends on what version you'll be getting from Brawl, as far as English and Japanese version, that if you purchase the Japanese version of Brawl, that Ike is usually speaking in Japanese, but if you purchase Super Smash Bros. Brawl in English, that Ike usually speaks in English, so there's a one noticeable difference, and I believe the same applies to Sonic. Ah, shoot. Ah, we're so close. We even know that again, that assuming if you're actually trying to perfectly time if your counterattack perfectly, it's really hard to actually just try to do that, even for Giga Bowser, for example. But then again, though, it's mostly due to the fact that we're constantly losing some stocks in some of these matches. Most likely, we actually had a bit of mistake in Congo Jungle that we've not meant to do the aerial dodge attack. And also that we actually get butt kicks by Zelda/Sheik. And then also we managed to get butt kicks by, which ones to be exact? The Pokemon Stadium battle with the whole abundance of Pikachus. And then also we managed to lose yet another stock via, being the, you know, giant variation of Black or Darker Bowser. So let's just see if we actually, although, to be fair, we actually lost about 1 stock by him thanks to the Polygon Mark II from Pokemon Generation 2 that actually just fling us off from the edge. But anyways, let's see how we can actually just about to get ourselves our second chance to actually fight against him. So let's see if we hopefully, with regard for bit, trying to actually do this successfully. As long as that, if we actually just only use 1 continue, we should able to be just as fine. But there we go. So we still have another chance to actually just, you know, have the ability to fight against with Giga Bowser this time around. So anywho, so let's get this going then. Okay then, Giga Bowser, show you what you got there again. Even then though, that last time this actually happens to us though, is that when we actually playing as Bowser versus against with Giga Bowser, it's a bit like the same thing, but except the fact that Bowser is actually much more heavier than Marth when it comes to the defense and stuff, so... Oh jeez, he's a lot harder with Marth though. Especially that you're gonna have to get used to the random attacks and all that with him. Assuming if you're actually trying to, you know, perfectly time your, you know, counter blocks and all that. But even then though, he's actually quite tricky with Marth though, at least as far as I think about it. Oh great, we actually lost like 2 stocks already. Anyways, let's keep on just trying to, you know, do counter attacks like plenty of times and stuff. But then after we're actually done with him though, we can actually, as you expected, we'll showcase the other target smash level. So, you probably expected at this point in time. Alright, so he's pretty much almost down yet. Ah, great. Oh god. Oh, please, 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 please. Yes! Even though we almost attempted to fall off or even lost a stock on that. But anyways, we'll take it. We'll take it for our victoryness. Sadly, we only used just only 1 continue, but usually speaking of such though, we almost seem to go really close while actually getting to the ultimate victory. But if we do, however, then we manage to accomplish it, but still. But yeah, he's not that bad of a character, and probably the coolest looking character introduced in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Even especially if you are very familiar with the Fire Emblem games. The Fire Emblem series is more likely the RPG games, most likely the role-playing games, which is more likely strategy involved in there as well. Like, taking a note from the Advance Wars, for example, that even then though, that Fire Emblem series was before when the Advance Wars came around on the Game Boy Advance, the first installment of the series. Even the second game called Black Hole Rising. But even then, we'll explain more into these particular different franchises as long as we actually move on to the next character in the lineup. But anyway, though. So here's Marth fighting against with the his rival of his was actually Link. So because of that, though, both of these characters, again, they're usually swordsman fighters. So yeah, much like earlier, that's as we mentioned earlier, that we're gonna have to showcase his target smash level. So, as far as Marth's target test level, as far as his is concerned, it's a little bit trickier for the most part because all we have to deal with is just one little bit of an annoying obstacle we're gonna have to deal with. You know these slippers, right? These are gonna be the much more tougher obstacles to dodge. So even then though, it's all about timing requirements, and even then though, it might take you a lot of tries to do this. Even though, let's just hope if we actually don't get as many tries, unlike in Pichu's target smash level. But I'm still more concerned about Pichu's target smash level is by far the hardest target smash level in the entire game. At least in my honest experience, from my opinion, from my book. But still, can't actually kind of blame on you for that part. So even then though, we almost attempted to mess everything up with that move. But anyways, let's go ahead and go all the way back up again. And hopefully we can actually do a successful attempt on this. At least if we're actually hoping ourselves so. Oh god, don't you ever dare knock us to the part of it. Dang it, we actually missed on that. It's a good thing we're actually going to be saving our final target all the way down there for last, because if we do that from earlier on, you probably ended up getting a chance to gain back up again. So it's a good thing that I highly suggest you go for that target for last. So yeah, so let's see how we can actually do this properly. And if we actually failed yet again, then we probably have to jump cut. Speaking of such, we failed. So we'll be right back. Oh, for the love of God, these flippers, man, they're always trying to knock you off the level, though. But anyways, oh, don't you ever dare think about it again. There we go, we managed to bypass through it. Or if we actually trying to go clip through that floor, then we should be able to be just as fine for that. So anyways, let's go ahead and just break our last target, and boom. There we go. A little bit trickier though when it comes to this level though, but anyway though, so let's just go ahead and end things off here. So join us next time for Let's Play of Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's the fact that we're turning back into All-Star mode for the final time to select the final clone character, and that honor goes to Roy. So see you guys next time. Later fellas.